So today's video, we're going to do a comparison between the old firmware 4.6.3 and the latest one at the time I'm making this video, which is 4.7.1. For the nerds against you, I'm going to check the boot up times. They're practically the same in my first test. I'm going to check out the main new feature, which is you can adjust the screen resolution. It also does 4:3 ratio as well as 16:9, so that's quite handy for those venues where it, where you've got these issues. So you can see the boot up time is roughly the same. If we go into the quick look in the menus, most stuff appears the same. Just check the version numbers here. Hope you can see that 4.63, 4.71, and the only noticeable difference, I've not spent a massive amount of time with this, in the options, we go down, we've got a new option of the video mode, which comes after the video output section. Can you see that there? So the old one's video output to background image, this one's video output, video mode. So we're going to take a look at that. And if we go in there, you can choose what output type you've got. At the moment, I'll just put this one out of the way, we don't need that one for now. At the moment, I've got it's a 16:9 screen. You can see 1920 by 1080 pixels, and that's the image I'm projecting. You can see on the screen there. Auto, I guess that probably detects, like the old system when it boots up, what it's connected to, and possibly changes the frequency and refresh rate, maybe the resolution. I've not looked into that yet, but I'm going to give you a quick example. So, by the way, my background image is the image you can see on the screen now for these test purposes. There's a slight caveat to that, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. So video mode, if we put it on 1280 by 720, that is also, I believe, widescreen. And you can see it's trimmed a little bit off the image there, so it could be due to this monitor, but I'm not getting the full resolution on the screen there. There's a bit of trimming going on there. That might be acceptable, which you can see it's only a few pixels around the outside. For some reason, if I do 1920 by 1080 at 30 Hertz, my monitor doesn't like it, so I can't test that one. That could be probably my monitor. The optimum one, according to my monitor there, which is quite an old monitor, by the way, is 1920 by 1080 at 60 Hertz, which if we select that, we get a lovely crystal clear image, just as intended. And that's the native format, I believe, of the images stored on images and videos stored within the bbeat. Now, 1024 by 768 at 60 Hertz. That's the slight downgrade, and a bit of a letterbox. I think, if my maths do me right, it's in 4:3 ratio. Okay, on my screen, if I put it to 4:3 mode, you can see its letterbox is chopped the bottom and the top off, which is pretty good because that's what you want on a 4:3 screen. You know, if you're using 16:9 images, which is what the native format is, when you've got a 4:3 visual display, and you need to letterbox the top, i.e. a black border at the top and the bottom. And the next one, 800 by 600, some old projectors might be in that, and that's a 4:3 ratio. And again, it's a pretty crude. A lot of the definition's gone from the image there, but it's letterboxed. Down the side here is nothing there, but we've got a black letter bar at the bottom and the top. So our 16:9 image fits in a 4:3 ratio. That makes sense. And we can go even lower than that, 720 by 576. Again, same kind of thing. In fact, you might be able to see there's a slightly different shade of grey at the bottom. We've trimmed a bit off the image as well, so a bit off the sides have gone missing there. Again, if your display unit is of that resolution, then you might not get these issues. So just going back to auto, I think auto, it's obviously set to what the screen was. It's told the screen that's what we're putting out, and the screen's locked at that. So 1920 by 1080 at 60 hertz. That's going to be the best you can get on there. And my screen's going back into widescreen mode. So there we go. So this is my background image. I'm just going to change that so we don't get confused. That's our default Holden screen logo. Now, be aware when you change your video resolution that you do it whilst in standby mode, i.e. there's no videos playing. If I go into my media files and one of the images here is my test screen. So if I play that, that's the image you could see during our testing. So this is currently playing a video, if you like, of my test image. I'm just going to press stop, which we know pauses it. Now if I go into the options and I try and adjust my video mode whilst playing my test screen, notice if I go for the, say, 800 by 600, it's chopped off loads of the image. You know, where's it gone? We've lost something crazy's gone on there. If I go back to the plain file and I stop it, there's my Holden screen, and if I play it again, it's come back. The whole image is back there, obviously in the widescreen mode. So be aware of that. Test it using your background image, or at least restart your test file image, because that's going to be you're going to get some issues. Let's try the different resolution. Let's try 1024 by 768. Again, you can see it shoved it over to one side. It's not dead central. But if I restart that track, it centralizes it. So top tip, use your background image, or at least restart your test image. And again, if I go back one final time to the optimum video setting of 1920 by 1080 at 60 hertz. See, it's thrown it over in the corner. It's had a bit of a wobbler. But if I if I stop the image, restart it in widescreen mode, we've got what we need. So there we go. Should be a real handy feature. There's a lot of venues I've been to with this sort of like a 4:3 ratio projector. We've got a few gigs coming up this weekend. I'm going to look forward to gigging the new firmware, and I'm sure I'll report back if there's any issues. Fingers crossed. If you saw more of the video, I got the two b.beats set up as the main and the spare, like a master and slave. So the spare one, the slave one, is synced to the master. It copies all the contents across. Obviously, it won't copy the screen resolution across because it only exists on one of the units. So that's going to be my backup, the reliable 4.6.3. But I'm going to gig the spare one, if you like, 4.7.1, and we'll let you know how we go on. There we go. So there's a few tips for the new screen resolution. Just to recap, the different modes you got: auto, which will be probably detecting what the screen is; 1280 by 720 at 60 hertz. Can you see that? Let's just zoom in for you. 1280 by 720 at 60 hertz. 1920 1080 at 30 hertz. The one we're currently on, 1920 1080 at 60 hertz. 1024 by 768 at 60 hertz. 800 by 600 at 60 hertz. 720 by 576 at 50 hertz. I don't know why they chose these values. Maybe they're common ones. We'll see. So here we go. Video signing off.